Hi, I'm Gregg Swain, and I'm here to talk with you about Mah Jongg. Mah Jongg is a game that many of you may not have ever heard of before, but it happens to be the most popular game in the world. The word mahjong, though, is a lot like saying the word cards. People say, "Oh, I love to play cards," and they might play bridge or canasta or rummy or gin rummy or spit. When you say mahjong, there are lots of different variations of the game too. And there are versions that are American, that are Chinese, that are Vietnamese, that are Japanese. There are lots of different ways to play the game. I wrote American Mahjong for Everyone with Toby Salk, and in that book we tell everybody about how to play the American version of the game that's sponsored by the National Mahjong League. But there are lots of different ways to play the game, and if you want to learn to play Mahjong, I know there's a type of game that you'd like to play. Most variations of the game are played with the same types of tiles. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those types of tiles, and I'm hoping that maybe you're going to be interested in doing a version of a tile set of your own. So when I'm talking to you about the tiles, I want you to think about things that you like in your life that you'd like to have on your set of tiles. Because Mahjong really was a celebration of all things Chinese. The images on the tiles were things that people in China loved. So there are bits of their history, parts of their landscape, architecture, transportation, all things that made China China. And those images appear on Mahjong tiles, as you'll see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this screen and I'm going to put it way down over here. And I'm going to talk with you about cards because, as I said, it's the game of mahjong is very much like a game of cards. When you play cards, you know there are four different suits, and in cards you have hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds, and there's only one of each type of card. Well, mahjong is a little bit different. There are four of each type of tile, and there are three suits. So here's one of the suits, here's another, and then these are just some special tiles over here, and we'll talk about everything. And you'll notice that there are some jokers here. Jokers are wild tiles, and they're very excited. Everybody gets very excited when they've got a joker because it allows them to do a lot more than they could if they didn't have a joker. This is a set from the 1920s, and the dice that were used to play the game would come in this little box here made out of bamboo. And this was a way that they were able to keep track of the score. They, at the end of every game, if you won, you would get some of these counters from the people you were playing against. And if you lost, you had to give some of these bone counters. And it all depended on how high scoring your game was. So I wanted to show you here we've got a run of cards, and most versions of Mahjong have to do with runs or groupings of different cards. Now in a game of cards, this would be a run from ace until the king. So every card in numerical order, and then jack, queen, and king. And of course I had to throw in the joker because we've got jokers in the American version of the game. So that is all that you would see if you were playing the game with diamonds. Those are all the diamond cards. Now here, we just have one row, one run of the dots. And you know that there are four of every type of tile, but I'm just showing you one particular run of the dots. So here are dots, and they go from 1 to 9. Here's another suit. These are the bamboos, and they go from 1 to 9. And you're going to learn a lot more about them, and you'll learn a lot more about this guy here too. These are the cracks. We call them cracks because this is a word in Chinese, and we call all Chinese written words character. And the word crack is just short for the word character. Here are some other special tiles. These are the winds, north, east, south, and west. And actually, this is a Chinese character for north. Here it is for east. Here it is for south. And here it is for west. And these are dragons, because you can't have a game about China without having dragons. So here's a white dragon, here's a green dragon, and here's a red dragon. And now we get to these really wonderful special tiles. And these we call flowers, but they're really bonus tiles. And I know they're not flowers in this set that I'm showing you. You can have flowers, but flowers really is just a generic term. They're bonus tiles and they're things that people really wanted to celebrate. So here, because it's a game about China, this set was made in the 1920s and they wanted to show what was exotic in China. So you've got wonderful types of transportation here. And you've got wonderful architecture. So these were things that made people in the United States and Europe feel that they were seeing scenes of China. But there could also be lots of other celebrations on the flower tiles. They could be flowers, as I mentioned, but they could also be bits of history. They could be stories that the Chinese liked. They could be places that the Chinese loved to visit. There were lots of things to be celebrated on flower tiles, and I'll tell you more about those later in another video. But I'm hoping that I've whetted your appetite to learn more about Mah Jongg and that you'll want to actually make a tile set of your own. Till then, bye!